All right, so I'm going to open up this session here. We're going to talk about pan now. Very similar to volume automation, but in this case, we are dealing with the panorama, the left to right placement of these tracks, of the volume. So pan is the left and right placement of the audio signal. So what that means is it's just the volume difference between the left and right channel. So let's just demonstrate this. I'm going to highlight this guitar track here. Again, my technique, I always like to highlight the track nameplate in my mix and edit window, then I can kind of see, oh, it's this track right here. So I already took the liberty and put some automation in this track, and I'm just going to hit play here. Hit down there to advance the cursor there a little bit. Should be the right channel. Now it's going left. Now it's hard right, and hopefully you guys hear that. My screen capture software is a little bit strange here, but that should have been moving around. So just like the volume automation, this is pan automation, and as soon as you put any breakpoint in there at all, you lose manual control of the fader here. So if I hit the play, there's no breakpoints in there, so I have manual control over this. So a first mix pass would be to set a manual level of a kind of sound stage of giving your session some width. And pan can also be used for placing elements just so you can hear them. So if you can just pan around and you just turn it, oh, there, I hear it there. And so you just kind of do it by ear oftentimes. So another thing to think about, we often describe a pan like the hands of a clock. So if we option click, it's like the default way to make something default. So option click this fader here. So if I'm on this fader here, I can option click that, it goes to 0 dB, right? This pan pot, maybe it's over there, option click that, it goes to 0 dB. So options like zeroing something out or doing everything. I can solo all these tracks, right? So it's options kind of like this magic modifier in Pro Tools. It's used for a lot of different things. So just to tell you that. So the 12 o'clock would be straight up. This would be something like 5 o'clock. This would be something like 7 o'clock. This here would be 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So you have these gradations of a clock where you might say, oh, I'm going to pan the guitar to 9 o'clock here. And then to pan the keyboards to 3 o'clock. And then I put the vocal dead center. Maybe it's a little bit off center. And we see in Pro Tools it's 100 to 0. And 0 would be dead center. So again, just refreshing the or reviewing the automation data here. It's just like, so here's the default waveform view, right? And we changed the waveform, zoom in here, where it says waveform here, we're going to change that to pan. There we go, there's pan. And just like volume automation, we're able to draw this in here. I would probably start with the grabber here and just start writing in breakpoints like that. So we know how that happens. Option click to erase the breakpoint and use the selector here to just select all the breakpoints and delete them. I like using the trim tool as well, which you make a selection, and then with the trimmer, there we go, I can just move this up and down. I can move any selection of this if I want to change it to something. And I like using up and down arrow to mark in. So 4, 5, down arrow right there. I'm just going to do this next phrase. Right? So I made a selection there based on my ear, like listening to the tempo, down arrow, up arrow, and I got it pretty good. And I would maybe pan that over here, right? So I can move a selection with the trim tool. I'm using the smart tool here. And if you go up to the center, it's kind of recontextualized. So you can use the trimmer to great effect. So pan is much more simple when it's mono. Pro Tools is unique in when we have a stereo track. Let's just compare these tracks right here. Here I have a guitar track that I recorded here in my studio. And here is the background track. And point being, you can see that the mono track has 1 level meter and the stereo track has 2 level meters. So The mono track only has one pan control because there's only one channel of audio. Pro Tools is different than some DAWs, but here we have a pan left, and pan right. So if I'm on the pan right, it's hard right, and if I go to the pan left, it's hard left. Actually, I put this one in the center, but I can just move it up there. There we go. So the trim tool is great for that. So if you want to make something predominantly to the right or the left, what I would do, again, I'm using the method of selecting the track nameplate so I can see which one it is. I go over here. Oh, there's the track it's selected. That's great. So if you wanted to have something predominantly be towards the right, I would probably just do this one around the center and the right. And let's just listen to that. So it's over there. Or I might do something like this, hard left and then center. Goes like that. And notice how I have some automation there. So as soon as I click play, it goes right back to wherever the previous setting is. So experiment with adding automation to the pan. And what else do I want to say about that? So that probably concludes enough about pan for this video. So I would always try to use pan and give things a unique placement in the stereo field. If you don't touch the pan, everything's going to be either hard left, hard right if it's a stereo track, which is okay if it's recorded that way. But from a mono source, you want to push them around. And you really want to imagine a soundstage from left to right and how you're placing your elements in that mix.